So in case you didn't know, this country and the people within this country are completely drowning in debt. And I'm going to show you why it can lead the economy and the real estate market right off a cliff. Stay tuned. What's going on, my YouTube friends? This is Jerry Abbott, your #1 real estate resource here in beautiful Las Vegas. Hey guys, a couple of real quick things before we dive into the video. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to learn the cold hard facts about the U.S. economy, the U.S. real estate market, and specifically the Las Vegas real estate market, then definitely subscribe to the channel down below. Number 2, if you happen to like the content in today's video, make sure to press that thumbs up like button, guys. That would really help the channel out. And number 3, if you are thinking about relocating to beautiful Las Vegas, whether it's next month or next year, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent here. I've lived here for nearly 20 years. I know every inch of this city. When that time is right for you, definitely reach out to me. Just call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. Let's dive into the rest of the video. All right, so I want to start off by showing you guys this 30-second video clip. Take a look at this.
When I was growing up in the early to mid 2000s, my dad only worked one job and my mom was a stay-at-home mom for 90% of my life. And we were really lucky, and my dad made about $100K at his job, and that was enough to support a family of 4 on 7 acres of land plus build our own house. And now that I'm an adult living on my own, I'm single, I have no kids, I can barely even afford rent. Their mortgage payment was $790. I make 60% of what my dad made in the early 2000s, and he was supporting a family of 4 on his solo salary of $100K, and I can't even support myself on a salary of just under $60K. Like, make it make sense.
So that girl makes $60,000 a year and can barely make it. That's very unfortunate, but even more unfortunate is this next 30-second video clip that I want you guys to take a look at right now.
60% of American adults surveyed cited their level of debt as their main reason for financial anxiety.
Debt is rising every single day, and it is something that I can say is debilitating. For me, even with a master's degree and having experience out in the field for over 10 years, I've had to have at least 3 jobs in order to not live paycheck to paycheck.
But with inflation at its 40-year high, debt in America will likely grow. 43% of Americans are expected to add even more debt within the next 6 months.
So did you see at the beginning part of that video clip where that social worker has $240,000 in debt? The bottom line is that these statistics and videos are everywhere on social media, and not only is the debt mind-boggling, but people simply don't make enough to even pay off this debt. Just take a look at this. All right, so just to show you how bad the U.S. national debt is, as well as personalized debt, I want you to take a look at that live number right there in the middle of the screen. That monstrous number is over $34 trillion of U.S. national debt, and we're adding, just in case you're counting, about $3 million every minute to the U.S. national debt. And you can see down just below, that's $102,000 for every single person in America. That just goes to show you how bad it is on a national level. Now I want to show you guys how bad it is on a personalized level. All right, so now I want to drill down more specifically into personalized debt. Now, this article came out a couple of weeks ago. You can see the headline here where it says average American household debt in 2023. I want to show you several key finding line items down below that are really pretty eye-opening. All right, so this is a pretty extensive list showing key findings on all of the various debt that we're carrying throughout the country. I'm not going to go through every single line item here, but let's take a look at a few of them. Take a look at the third one right here, which says total credit card debt. It's over $1.1 trillion. Average credit card debt per household is over $6,000. If we scroll down a little bit deeper here, take a look at this. Average auto loan debt, almost $24,000. Average new monthly car payment, $726. Average monthly used car payment, $533, and average personal loan debt, almost $12,000. This is exactly what I'm talking about, guys. Whether it's the U.S. national debt at over $34 trillion or several trillion dollars in personalized debt that you see on this list right here, we are drowning in debt. It is completely unsustainable. Unlike the government that can continue to print money, we have to pay down this debt at some point, and in my opinion, it's going to turn ugly for a lot of people because this debt is completely unmanageable. And I wanted to show you guys this article that came out a little while ago. Take a look at this headline where it says AI will replace 85 million jobs globally by 2025. This is just gasoline to the fire that I was just talking about regarding debt, because we're carrying so much debt and people obviously need jobs to pay off that debt. Nobody's really talking about this, but AI and automation is going to be a big issue down the line, and it's coming faster than most people think. It kind of feels like a tidal wave out in the middle of the ocean. No one really sees it right now, but when it comes ashore, it's going to cause a lot of damage. So what I want to do now is I want to drill down specifically into the real estate market, and I want to show you in the upcoming clips a very sobering article in terms of how much it costs to own a home today compared to what it did before the pandemic. And then we're going to drill down a little bit deeper into my neck of the woods here in the Las Vegas area. All right, so take a look at this stunning headline from a recent article that just came out. This just goes to show you how difficult it is right now to buy a home in the U.S. The income needed to buy a typical home has soared 80% since 2020. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole article, but I want to show you this blue highlighted paragraph right here, and I'm going to read it to you real quick. It says, last month, home buyers needed to make about $106,000 to afford the monthly mortgage payments for a typical home. That's up from about $59,000 in January of 2020, according to a new report from Zillow. And I want to mention two things here specifically that really stand out. Number one, a lot of times these articles don't talk about the hidden cost to owning a home. So you actually need more than that $106,000 to afford things like maintenance and repairs and insurances. The other thing is, think about it. Let's rewind the clock a little bit. Going back to 2020 compared to now, the home payments are so much higher now. But again, people's wages and income have stayed relatively flat. That's where that huge disparity is. And that's why I think the housing market is just an overall ticking time bomb for the average person. All right, so since I happen to be located here in the Las Vegas area, I wanted to show you guys what's been going on here in the local Las Vegas real estate market, starting with this article that just came out last week. And unfortunately, there's been a little bit more gasoline added to the real estate market fire here in the Las Vegas area. As you can see with that headline right at the top where it says, February brings big jump in Las Vegas home prices. And then you can see right next to my picture in that blue highlighted sentence that I'm going to read to you guys, you can see right there it says the median price for a home hit $460,000, an 8.2% increase over prices a year ago and 3.4% higher than just a month before. So the reason for this happening is very simple. The housing inventory and the total amount of Las Vegas homes for sale has been diminished severely by two things: a lot of investors, corporate and individual, and a lot of out-of-state buyers that can easily afford the Las Vegas home prices here if they're coming from wealthy areas like a lot of people are from the California area. But here's the thing, as you're about to see in the upcoming clips, I'm going to show you a few examples that I find them every single week by the dozens of homes that are still massively overpriced and homes that are already now being reduced. So let's take a look at those few examples right now. All right, so now I want to drill down specifically into my neck of the woods here in the Las Vegas area. Now, Las Vegas happens to be the most popular and move-to city in the country virtually every single month. So what I typically do near the end of each of my videos, I go to the popular real estate website Zillow just to show you guys some different examples of homes that are for sale here in the Las Vegas area, starting in the luxury category and then working down closer to the average price point, just to show you where I think homes are completely overpriced and where there's discounts already happening. So let's start with this luxury home. You can see on the left side of the screen, this is definitely a luxury home, fully remodeled. It's $3.5 million as a current list price. It's 5 bedrooms, 6 baths, and it's over 7,100 square feet. But again, more importantly, I want to show you the price history on this particular home to show you how completely overpriced I think this home is. All right, so let's take a look at the price history on this particular home. Take a look at the date down here in the highlighted blue area down here. The bottom left, that date says 12/2/2020, and it says it was sold for $1.3 million. So that was just about 3.5 years ago. And then a lot of things changed with this particular home. When we scroll up and we take a look right here, we see that they try to list the home for rent for $14,000. They removed the listing, and then they put it for sale on 5/5/2022. So that was about 18 months after the original purchase of $1.3 million. Take a look at the price right here on the far right side, $4.8 million. That's a $3.5 million price increase in 18 months. All right, so let's just stop for a minute and think about this. The buyer bought this home about 3.5 years ago for $1.3 million and then did a full remodeling job on it. Let's say the remodeling budget was $1 million. So that means the all-in cost for this buyer is $2.3 million. They didn't even try to sell it for $3 million or $3.5 million or even $4 million. They tried selling it closer to $5 million. There's just been no buyer. There's been a series of price changes, as you can see as I scroll all the way up here, and it's come all the way down to $2.995 at one point, and then they again relisted it at an even higher price, which is ludicrous because they didn't even have a buyer at $3 million. Now they have it listed at $3.5 million. Now, I know that the majority of people obviously can't afford a multi-million-dollar home like this, and this is obviously an extreme overpricing example, but this is not uncommon in cities like Las Vegas, especially with a lot of investors here, because a lot of investors are buying homes, renovating them, and then just throwing some absurd huge price on the home, hoping that a naive buyer is just going to come in and buy the home at their price point. You need to pay particular attention to not doing that, getting a real estate agent to run comps for you and get an appraisal regardless of the price point, because again, there's a lot of overpricing going on, especially in cities like Las Vegas. All right, so let's take a look at this second example of a home for sale here in the Las Vegas area. Now we're coming down below the luxury category, but we're still above the median price point, which here in Las Vegas is about $445,000. You can see on the left side of the screen, this home is listed currently at about $780,000. The price cut that they just had was $10,000 a couple of weeks ago. This is a 3-bedroom, 4-bath, nearly 2,800 square foot home. But again, I want to show you down below the price history as to what's going on with this home and why they're having trouble selling it. All right, so focus your attention down here on the bottom left where I highlighted this in blue. The date down here says 6/17/2022. So that's about 21 months ago. And that was the peak levels of the real estate market. They listed this home for sale that you could see over here on the right side of the blue highlight of about $1 million. So nearly 2 years ago at the peak of this real estate market, this home was valued at around $1 million and they have not been able to sell it. In fact, as I scroll up here, you could see they lowered it to $975. Then at $949, they almost had a pending sale. It obviously fell through, and they've been reducing it ever since to the point now where it's at $779. Again, if we take a look higher up here and you take a look at the estimated market value from Zillow, they actually have it even lower right there on the upper left. You can see that says $752. So in the course of 21 months, this home went from a valuation of about $1 million down to $750. So again, this is about a 25% price reduction. And the reason I'm mentioning it is because, again, just because sellers had it listed at a certain point, if a home is not priced right, even in a low inventory environment like we're in right now, it is not going to sell. All right, so let's take a look at this third and final example of a home for sale here in the Las Vegas area. It's actually in a city called Henderson, which is just adjacent to Las Vegas, only about 10 or 15 minutes away. You can see on the left side of this screen, it's actually a townhouse. It's $420,000 approximately right now is the list price. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, nearly 1,700 square foot townhome. But again, I want to show you the price differential from the peak of the real estate market almost 2 years ago until now. Okay, so focus your attention right here in the middle of the screen, right where I'm moving that small arrow cursor. Just to the right of that, it says July of 2022. So that's, again, about 20 months ago at the peak levels of the real estate market. If we go over to the far left side, right there, that small number, if you can't read it, this home was valued back then at about $474,000 from Zillow's estimate. Now, again, Zillow's algorithm sometimes gets it right. Sometimes they get it wrong. I looked at some of the numbers here. This is pretty accurate around that time, 20 months ago, but take a look right above it. Look right where it says Zestimate. That's the way they estimate it now at 407. So again, this home has dropped in 20 months from 474 down to 407, which is almost $70,000. So again, just because a home is listed back at that time, if it's overpriced, it wasn't selling and it still hasn't sold, even down now in the low 400s. So again, if you're patient and you wait things out, in a lot of these examples, there's still a lot of overpricing going on, and you can get good deals, as this is an example of that. Even though you had to be patient for almost 18 to 20 months, look at that price differential. It's about $70,000 cheaper now in this particular example. So there are 3 massive issues going on right now within this economy. Number one, this country and the people living within this country are absolutely drowning in debt. Number 2, costs of goods and services have absolutely skyrocketed since the pandemic. And number 3, wage growth has been relatively flat compared to all of the hyperinflation. What we need to do truly is to draw a line in the sand and stop all of this insane consumer spending. I'm not that optimistic that people are going to do that. I think ultimately it's going to take a recession for consumer spending to drop down, but we really need to put a halt to a lot of the things that we don't need in our lives so that prices ultimately across many sectors will finally go down. So before we end today's video, I just want to give a shout out to my 2 favorite comments from last week's video. Now, I had hundreds of comments come in, but I picked these 2. I'm going to put both of them up here on full screen for you guys to take a look at. Let's take a look at that first one right now. So this first one is from this dude. The harsh truth I'm still facing. I just got a huge 25% pay raise in my income, which is comfortably above the median income for the high cost of living areas on the West Coast. Still can't afford a house because you have to be making 3 to 5 times the median income to afford a house. And this second comment from Gray says, chicken breast was $2.99 a pound, then $4.99 a pound, now $8.99 a pound. Things are getting seriously ridiculous. So I can't even begin to tell you guys how many comments I receive like that every single week from my videos, which is just proof positive as to how many people are struggling so badly from a financial perspective. Now, I read and respond to all of my comments, so I want you guys to definitely drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you're frustrated about, whether it's the economy or your finances. And my favorite comment from this week's video, I'm going to give a direct on-screen shout out to in next week's video. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I also hope you appreciate my transparency. You know that I'm always going to keep it 100% real on this channel regarding the economy and the real estate market. So like I said earlier in the video, guys, if you can cut down on consumer spending, do it. If you don't have to buy something right now, don't do it. Try to save your money. Nobody knows what tomorrow brings. Regarding buying a home, if you have the luxury of time on your side and you don't have to buy a home right now, I definitely think you should sit on the sidelines and wait for prices to come down, which may take most of 2024, but it's better to be patient right now if you can. I know everybody's circumstances are different. Some people have to buy a home right now. If you are thinking about buying a home, especially here in the Las Vegas area where I happen to be located, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent here. I've lived here for nearly 20 years. I know every inch of this city. When that time is right for you, definitely reach out to me. Just call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. I'll see you guys in the next video.